channel.
Hey, you know what time it is?
Time is it, man?
Welcome everyone to another episode of The Beatdown, the segment where two worlds collide. I am your host, Class. This is my co-host,
Mr. J. What's up, guys? We would like to remind you, if you like these videos or this content, go in the section below. Like, comment, subscribe, and share.
Yeah! And without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, today we're doing an episode based on the Marvel Illuminati. And if you watch the Doctor Strange 2, you would know what I'm talking about. We're not going to give you the specific on who's going to be in there. We're just adding the Illuminati list. So that way we got to leave you guys on the mystery on that.
I would say it's more based on comic Illuminati.
Yes, the comic Illuminati more than it is based on the actual movie. Some of the characters might be, some of the characters might not be in there. So, yeah.
No spoilers here.
Yeah! And I'll be representing DC Comics Cyborg. Okay, brief origin story time. This one's, wow. So, let's start off with his childhood. So, in the beginning, Cyborg was actually being experimented by his mom and his dad. Eventually, they discovered that Victor, sorry, it's not Cyborg at the time, his name was Victor, was a super genius intellect person. So, you know, at first, they don't let him get out of the house. And that kind of affects him a lot because he doesn't know the real world. One day, he goes outside and he almost gets hit by a bus. Some kid saves him named Ron. Ron was a troublemaker, but Victor didn't know that. So he starts hanging out with Ron and they start causing a little mischief, little trouble. Parents don't like that, so they decide instead of getting him on the streets, get him off the streets and decides to take him to a public school. There he decides to channel his gifts of, you know, whatever he could do by becoming a football player. And he starts getting into great shape in that, but he also stays close with Ron. There's a whole dicey story behind that. I'm not going to get into specifics on that. But let's just get into the long story short of it. Eventually, one day, Victor comes over to mom and dad's lab to see how, you know, they're doing. And he walks in on a wrong time situation where there's a dimension being opened by mom and some creatures coming out. It kills mom in the process. It takes half of Victor's body. And now dad is freaking out. He closes the dimension, but now he has to make a decision whether to let his kid die in this horrible way or to help him survive. So he decides to give him his cybernetic technology that he was working on to develop for people who were losing parts of arms and limbs in war. So he decides to put it into Victor. Eventually, Victor wakes up and sees what his dad has done to him and is completely upset about it. He didn't want to live. He'd rather have just died. That was the whole story, and that's why it's so complicated about Victor's life, because he thinks himself a machine, at the same time not fully a man. And that is the brief origin story of Cyborg. Now let's get into the powers, abilities, and feats. Shall we, gentlemen and ladies? Super strength, super durability, super speed, shape changing, sensor system, tech interfacing, self-repair, Prometheum proof. That's interesting. If that's Deathstroke's armor, he's apparently pervious to that. Sonic cannons, anti-possession tech. At least that's what we hear every now and then. Absorb energy, steals power, energy projection, holographic image projection, force field, flight, and boom teleportation. Okay, here are his feats. He has damaged the red tornado. It's kind of like the similar to Vision in Marvel. He has blasted Wrath. He blasted Superboy Clone. Superboy Clone is no child. He actually is a pretty tough guy to beat. Casually lifts 9 tons with one arm. Okay, just one arm. Blast him metahumans, and this is what we got. We have Miss Martian. She's actually stronger than Martian Manhunter, by the way. She's actually much stronger than them. Wally West, nah. And both Wonder Girls. Okay, he took one shot at Mammoth. If you know who Mammoth is in the DC comic realm, he's a pretty tough guy to put down. He restrains Miss Martian as well, and that's not easy to do. Now, here's something interesting. It's called an Omega Drone Union. So here it is. On his return to Earth, Siberian had his conscience of Victor Stone transferred into Minion's Omega Drone alien armor, a shape-shifting liquid metal body comprising of incredibly advanced alien technology. Adapting the suit to his own usage, he was able to change and morph his own body into physical semblance however he saw fit. After having assimilated a clone body created for him, Cyborg now could physically retain his ability to take human form as well as change back into cyborg shape without effort at will. Okay, that's crazy. So how I see Cyborg winning this one. So let's start off with the fact that Cyborg is half man and half human, which means his adaptive time or his rapid time of reaction time is really fast. And I would say probably faster than a mechanical machine. So putting two of those together, I want to say that when a moment comes where Iron Man might throw something at him, shoot something at him, Cyborg with his half human side and his half robotic side, cybernetic side, he's going to be able to quickly react to any kind of countermeasures that are being thrown out there, because he is capable of adapting to things. Let's talk about the fact that Cyborg can boom into different places and different dimensions, stuff like that. Now, Iron Man is capable of adapting his suit into a lot of things, but imagine when you're in a different dimension where you don't know how things work and you haven't really adapted your suit to different types of environments like that. I don't think it's possible to go to a different dimension and already know how to examine the elements out there and be able to handle whatever is coming your way, especially when it comes to durability. I feel like at some point it's going to affect the suit in some essence, which gives, of course, Cyborg the knowledge of knowing what to do at this point, because let's face it, Cyborg has the ability to actually adapt much more than Tony has. He's been booming for a while, which means he knows what to do in different dimensions. He knows how to adapt to different dimensions compared to Tony. Tony is a smart guy, but his suit's not going to be able to adapt to everything in every different type of environment that there is. I don't think that being a possibility. A couple of things that I'm going to say on this end is also that the alien technology from the mother box is actually pretty... It's going to come in handy, because that means it's infinite. It means it's been here for a while. It has been advancing since the beginning of time, which means it's probably going to have an upper leg to a human being like Tony. Tony's a very smart guy, but to be smarter than the alien cosmos knowledge, I don't really think so. I think that's going to be where it's not going to play to his favor in that essence. So why do I bring that up? Well, here's the thing. I feel like when it comes to channel powering channel, I feel like the mother box is going to be able to channel any of the energy that Tony throws at him. On top of that, be able to hack into his technology, to his suit. Now, alien technology is probably going to be a little far more advanced when it comes to a human being. So I feel like he can compromise the suit. He can get him to go on a little joyride. He can probably get him out of his suit and exposed, so that way he can take him out for the count in that way. And my last final argument is going to be that Omega Drone. Sorry, let me say it right. Minions Omega Drone alien armor. The fact that it's kind of like Tony Stark's liquid form armor means that they're both at a stalemate. The only difference is that his armor is made from alien technology, which means that there's probably far more superior advancement in it than Iron Man's. Iron Man's been only adapting whatever he felt suitable, but if we're talking about an alien race, we're probably talking about an alien race that has thought about every cosmic threat that possibly could exist and decided to make something so durable, so unbelievably hard to penetrate that it would be hard to take down. So if he decides to throw the liquid armor, that means that Cyborg can throw the Omega Drone suit armor. And if that happens, alien armor, it's gonna be a downhill for Tony Stark in that end. And I'm gonna say Victor, Cyborg for the win.
Defense mode activated.
My contestant today is Marvel's Tony Stark, otherwise known as the Invincible Iron Man. Now, Tony was a prodigy early on in mechanical engineering. About age 21, he took over his dad's company after his parents had passed in a car accident, and he took it and he made it into a giant global corporation, wildly successful. During testing for new technology, Tony was injured. A piece of shrapnel had entered his heart. So there's a little inconsistencies in some of his background. There's There's times where this had taken place in Vietnam. There's times where I believe it had taken place in Afghanistan or Iraq. So the area of which this happened sometimes has changed, I believe, once or twice. But nevertheless, he was captured. He was forced to work on terrorist missiles or weapons or die. That's the choice he was given. He chose another option. He made his Iron Man suit that we all know, and he escaped. And that is the brief origin of Iron Man. I'm going to do this slightly differently today. And rather than list his powers and abilities first and then his feats, I'm going to name his feats first. That way I can kind of, tell you his equipment. And then I'll kind of get into how I believe he might win this fight. So, feats he actually has a lot of. He was trained by Captain America, Black Widow, and Shang-Chi.
Wow.
Survived a blow from Thor.
Woo!
Founding member of the Avengers and the Illuminati. Took down World Breaker Hulk.
Wow, he's a founding member. That's crazy.
Now, just so I can make my point clear, this wasn't the regular Hulk that we all know. No, this was World War Hulk. Or World Breaker Hulk. Meaning, Hulk steps outside and the world is gone, like destroyed. Like massive earthquake.
Turns into a powder.
Yeah, like nothing. And Tony was able to take him down. First human being to wield the Infinity Gauntlet. Defeated Magneto. You know Magneto, the guy that controls metal? Yeah.
Damn. And he's like Omega level.
Omega level.
We gotta do one about him because he's a boss, bro.
Waged civil wars against Captain America and Captain Marvel. Has claimed to have beaten Reed Richards in chess 5 times.
And Reed Richards, it's the smartest man in the universe. Okay?
Made the Sentry bleed. If any of you don't know who the Sentry is another Superman ripoff or alternate. He is Marvel's version of Superman. Well, one of them.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say Hyperion is a little more similar, but yes, Sentry does have like that junior Superman. Like he's Superboy clone or something.
Yeah.
Let's go with that.
He has survived nuclear explosions at only 2% power.
Woo! 2%! Think about your phone. You wouldn't survive an explosion in 2%.
He has created a suit out of the Escape. If any of you don't know what the Escape is, it is basically a virtual reality or a virtual universe that Tony created to where he can create anything in this universe. The only limit is his imagination.
Wow.
That is the limit of this universe. And Tony made a suit out of it.
Wow.
Created a genetic clone of Thor. Shattered the Phoenix Force. Defeated Ultron, Mandarin, Korvac, and Thanos.
He shattered the Phoenix Force. That's no joke. The cosmic universe being that could exist in any other reality or any other universe.
Let that one wrap around.
Let that one sink in for a second. Let's sit on that for a moment.
All right. Now I'm going to get into his, rather than powers and abilities, we're going to get into the equipment. Or his suits, rather. Standard on all suits, by the way. An EMP, flight, super strength, repulsor blast. An AI companion being whether it be Jarvis or Friday. And by the way, these AI companions, they can hack into pretty much anything. I think they've also been known to hack into alien technology, which we'll play into later. Anti-tank missiles, Unibeam, and smart missiles. These are standard on every model that Tony has. Now I'm going to get into these specific models. Model 51. Model 51 to Model Prime armor. Model Prime is pretty much Tony's maybe favorite suit. He is able to easily swap out pieces on this suit and able to he's able to add to it.
Oh wow.
Rather than switch out his suit, he just switches out pieces of this suit and adapts it to the task at hand. So as I said, Model 51 to Model Prime. Stealth, Samurai Mode, Hulkbuster, negative energy, remote tracking, and etc. I believe also the Thor Buster connects to this suit.
Damn.
Model 63 or Godbuster. This suit is basically what he uses to fight cosmic beings. I do believe he's fought Eternals while wearing this armor.
And the Eternals, you guys seen the movie or you haven't, they are like
they are the creators of like basically the MCU or the Marvel Universe. And the early version of this suit, the early version, mind you, was able to contend with them.
Yeah.
Model 68, or the virtual armor. As I've already kind of covered, it is the Escape, a virtual universe. As I've said, it can create anything Tony can imagine. And Tony has this on pretty much almost at all times. He has this underneath his other armors. So he has armor on armor on armor. Tony also has access to the Soul's Hammer. That is basically a planet-busting space laser. It's basically a satellite that hangs out in outer space, and just anytime Tony calls it, it just fires this laser. I believe it's able to destroy a planet at only a 2% charge. And the Endosim armor. Not Tony's most powerful suit, but definitely one of his scarier suits. The Endosim armor is half metal, half symbiote. Tony can call this suit to him telepathically, and it goes on almost instantaneously.
Yeah.
It is extremely strong, extremely powerful. But Tony can use this in a couple different ways. Rather than obviously just to protect himself, he can also trap his enemies within inside the armor. That could be extremely useful in this fight. Now, how I see this fight playing out, as I've already said, he has armor on top of armor. So even when it looks like Tony doesn't have a suit on, he's gonna have a suit on. He'll either have the escape on at all times, or he'll just... Basically, there's a couple armors that I just see overtaking Cyborg just on the sheer power level that they possess, whether it be the God armor or the Hulk Buster or the Thor Buster. If you don't know what those two armors do, it's kind of just already self-explanatory. It's kind of in the name. These armors were, one of them was made to contend and defeat the Hulk. The other one was made for the same purpose, only for Thor. Thor is the God of Thunder. So if Tony was able to create an armor to compete with the God of Thunder, I'm pretty sure he could figure out a way to contend with Cyborg. I would say early on he would just use Friday or Jarvis to hack into Cyborg. As I've seen throughout a lot of animated movies, a lot of the time Cyborg is defeated, it's through hacking. I know that they say that he has some ability or something that kind of prevents him from being hacked, but he always seems to be hacked somehow, some way. So if Tony can't hack him, he's going to have to use the God Buster or the Thor Buster or one of those to just try to overtake him and rip him apart. And pretty much just incinerate him. I mean, Victor can't really come back if there's nothing left. And the sheer power that some of those armors possess, I don't think Victor can, or Cyborg can stand up to it. I just don't. But I think he could use the Endo to even trap him and overtake his body. As you've seen with Carnage and Venom, a lot of my time, the advancement the symbiotes possess over their opponents is their ability to possess their opponents.
Yeah.
And if he can possess Victor, I believe he can take over his body and even take over his armor. Or the symbiote maybe could replicate the armor. And then, come back into Tony's body and tell him, okay, this is his weakness, this is what you need to do. So, that's how I see it playing out. God Buster or God Mode, whatever Tony calls it. If he needs to call it, he'll call it. And, I mean, in a desperate situation, he could use Soul's Hammer. That thing is capable of destroying planets. I don't think Cyborg can stand up to it. I don't think he can take a blast from it. So, Iron Man for the win, Iron Man all the way.
That's usually my thing.
But it's not up to me, it's not up to him. We leave the floor up to you guys. And as always, if you like my argument, if you thought I made the compelling argument, go in the section below. Hashtag Iron Man. If you like my boy's argument, you can hashtag
Cyborg, guys.
As always, guys, we love seeing you. Catch you guys later. Peace.